in my own time, and I have recently submitted applications under MTAS for a specialist trainee post in the speciality of urology. I was unsuccessful in all 4 of my applications. I'm not allowed by the deanery, due to a ministerial veto, to get any feedback, and I was actually initially shortlisted for an interview which was later retracted due to computer error. So I'm a frustrated, distressed, moralless young not moralless, but my morale is sapped young doctor.
No, we understood what you meant the first time. We don't have to go into that. But do you accept that there will always be winners and losers in the appointment process, and maybe you're just not up to it?
I think that this point was made to me this morning, or was made by Lord Hunt this morning. No one is denying that not everyone has a right to a job, but there should be meritocratic selection, and if I'm not the right candidate, that's fair enough. My employers believe that I'm a strong candidate. I have achieved everything where other people have failed. The pass rate for the intercollegiate MRCS is around about 45%. So all these things would suggest that I'm an ideal candidate. The current selection system does not allow anyone to evaluate me for who I am. They evaluate me in 9 150-word answers. Now, these answers were then marked by either a layperson and a consultant, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the way that you write your answers depends on who's marking them, and no one marking them had any idea whether I'd been qualified for 3 years or 15 years, which is vital to assessing my career progression, my motivation, and the accurateness of my answers. We are applying to be trained here. This is not for and that means that we have to be evaluated for what we have achieved so far.
And also tens of thousands of pounds, of course, spent on yours and other fellow doctors' training. I mean, how do you feel about this? What are you going to do? I mean, is it going to lead to a brain drain that someone's talking about, do you think?
The morale is going. This thing is tumbling down around, the Department of Health's ears. And what am I going to do? Well, for the last 3 months, I haven't known where to move house to, where I'm going to work in August. That's been put off for another 2 months. I don't know whether to continue with my research. All I want to do is look after my patients, and all I have to do every time my mind goes quiet is think about my future. If I was to be assessed on the basis of my curriculum vitae and by the criteria to which I have aspired, rather than a question about why I like being a doctor and how I cope under stress, I would feel that I have been evaluated fairly. At the moment, I have no idea whether my form was marked by a urologist or an orthopaedic surgeon, who would have been duty-bound to mark it with 0 marks because I've written that I want to do urology and he's marking orthopods. So we need a clear system that allows people to be evaluated fairly, and we need this ministerial veto, which is in contravention to the Data Protection Act, to be lifted, so I can find out that if I'm not the best candidate, where did I go wrong, and try and repair it. Leaving 30,000 people swimming like this is disgusting, and the problem is that 8,000 people being made unemployed by the government leaves big holes in rotas. If they think they can fill them safely, that's their business, and those 8,000 will have to get on with it. But we must be selected fairly, and the current system, they admit, is a disaster. They're having an urgent review, yet they're allowing it to continue. So that makes no sense.
Tim Nedas, we wish you every success with what happens in the future. But for now, thank you very much indeed. And you might like to send us your thoughts about this as well. We'll be putting those points from Tim Nedas and indeed your thoughts as well to the Health Minister, Lord Hunt, the next half hour here on News 24.